Hi there, and welcome to A&P with Dr. O. In our video here, we are going to be taking a look at skin underneath the microscope, and we are going to note not only the structures that we can see on these microscope slides, but we're going to take a look at some of the differences between thick skin and thin skin. What we have here is we have both types of skin. If I come over here under this slide, we're going to label this slide as thick skin, and we'll talk about the reasons why in just a moment. And then over here we have thin skin. Let's start by covering these different structures, and then we'll relate back to our differences between our two types of skin. In both, we want to note the epidermis. The epidermis is our superficial layer of the skin. So here we have the epidermis on thick skin versus thin skin. So both of these top layers here are going to be the epidermis. And what do you notice between the two? Right, the epidermis on thick skin is thicker when we kind of look at our bracket here than when we compare on thin skin. Thick skin, we're going to have 5 layers or strata of the epidermis. It includes the stratum lucidum. Thin skin lacks the stratum lucidum. And then we can also take a look at the stratum corneum. So this layer here, this top layer that's flaking off all the way at the top, this layer is going to be the stratum corneum. And then over here, I'm just going to kind of draw a line over part of this. I don't want to cover the whole thing so that you can see it. But here is the stratum corneum of thin skin. So we can also distinctly see that we have a thicker stratum corneum on thick skin than on thin skin. Thick skin is going to be on the palms of the hands and the soles of the feet. Thin skin covers much of the body surface. And another thing that we are going to note in thin skin are some different accessory structures that we don't see in thick skin. Accessory structures, remember, are found in the next layer of our skin. We'll kind of outline that here on either side. So this layer here is known as the dermis. And if we look at the accessory structures in our thin skin, we can note right here, this structure here, which is producing hair. So we can see the hair shaft. I'll kind of outline it here for us. But we can see a little bit of the hair shaft remaining on this slide. So this down here would be the organ which produces hair, which is our hair follicle. And then associated with that hair follicle, here we can see glandular tissue. So we can see these cuboidal cells that are distinctive of glandular tissue. This structure then here is going to be our sebaceous gland. So kind of draw an arrow down here where I have a little bit more room. And then I can kind of outline it for us. This is going to be our sebaceous gland structure. And sebaceous glands are associated with hair follicles. They produce oils that they deposit directly onto that hair shaft. There we have it. Thick skin versus thin skin.